Hi, I'm Becca Otis from Five Lines Pottery in Indianapolis, Indiana.
And I'm Ryan Durbin from RD Ceramics, located in Southgate, Kentucky.
And welcome to Wheel Talk.
Hey guys, we've loved answering all of your questions so far. If you'd like to hear your question on the podcast, please send them to us on Instagram at wheeltalkpodcast or by email to wheeltalkpodcast@gmail.com. Thanks.
Now, we're live.
We are.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Becca. You're wearing the shirt that you wore this weekend.
I am. I got so many compliments on this at the the Kroger.
Yep. Did you get more compliments than Rachel? Rachel's normally the one that gets compliments when her and I are out.
Rachel didn't get any compliments. I got all the compliments.
Oh, nice. Bring her down a notch.
Yeah. For everybody that can't see me, which is everybody except Ryan, I have this sweatshirt and it's like, it kind of looks like one of my mugs, actually, on a sweatshirt. I saw it on the interwebs and I was like, I have to have that. And I paid money for it. And I actually love it. It's like
weird. If you bought it, I hoped you paid money for it. I don't know how you steal it off the internet, but
I mean, I paid like more money than I normally would. Like normally I would pay for like $10 or less for a sweatshirt, like in a thrift store or what have you. And so I think I paid like $30 for it. But it's like a polyester fabric kind of, so it's like shiny. So it's not like soft. But I like it.
Okay.
It's very bright, for sure.
Yeah, it's very bright and colorful.
Yeah. How are you?
I'm doing well. I got some. I started the day kind of shitty. I went downstairs and my kiln aired out.
No.
The damn L&L. I'm still figuring out how to load it though. I think I'm overloading it.
Doubt it.
I think the problem was the lowest layer was like 6 inches, and then the second layer that I did was like a 3-inch post.
That's bullshit, and you know it.
And it's underneath the thermocouple. I mean, what else could it be? I think the error was an E-D, which is like an error differential, and I believe that means there's at least 100 degrees between two of the thermocouples, and it just shuts off because there's such a difference between the two. I don't know, though.
Have you
It's one of those things. Also, I don't know if there's a way to do this. Is there a way to refresh? Maybe this is a question for Josh.
Yeah, did you call Josh?
Well, if it errors out, can you like push a button or hit something to like re-show what the error was? Like the last error that came up? Because I feel like you look at it, you see the error, and then you hit enter, and it like scrolls through something that's important, and then you lose it forever, and you like, there's not like a
refresh of like a program.
Yeah, recap.
Review. Yeah, I don't know.
Because there was some other stuff that spit out there. I mean, usually it tells me error code, and then when I hit enter, it told me like the temperature that it did it at, which was about 1,500 degrees. Mm-hmm. And then I want to say it said ROR or something like that, or ROS or something. And then 250, I think, or something. I don't know. It's kind of cryptic whenever you get it. I feel like I should have had my phone. I say that every time after it happens, and I'm like, oh, I'll remember. And I should have just had my phone there and just record it on video so I can like go back and see it.
That's what I was going to say.
I don't know why I didn't do that.
I don't know. You have to call Josh. If you guys don't know already, Josh is our go-to for kilns.
Yeah. And do I just have more problems than the average Joe with kilns? Like, I don't get it.
No, you should see what Rebecca's going through right now. It's hell. Absolute hell on water.
Well, she fires her kilns way more than I do.
I know, but it's...
And I just replaced the elements. I'm like, what could be the error?
Well, you could have done something that was looser. Like, something could have gotten loose or something. But I feel like I need to say this before I don't forget it. Before I forget it. P.S. Anybody that is looking to buy a new Scut with the touchpad... Don't fucking buy it. Just buy the older one, the one that's not as fancy. Because
why is that? More technology, more problems?
Yes, well, that for sure.
Mo money, mo technology, mo problems.
Yeah, right. Like if I could buy a car with just roll up windows, I would. Anyway, moving on.
Becca will not be buying a Tesla anytime soon.
No. No, fuck that shit. I do have their stock though.
Hold on to that stock though.
Yeah. Anyway. No, Rebecca's screen cracked, and once it cracks, it doesn't work. And I don't know how.
The thing is, can't you see it in the app? Like, can you actually program it from the app?
I don't think so.
Oh, the app is just a way to like
look at it.
What's going on. You can't actually program it in case the screen had issues or something.
Right. Yeah.
That would be convenient, though.
It would be convenient.
Well, and the internet
somehow. Doesn't work in their building, so yeah. But anyway, just like get the cheaper one for the love of God, like. Or
how much is the upgrade? Is it like $150 or something for the upgrade?
I think it's like $300 for the upgrade.
Oh shit!
If you do get the fancy computer, when you change out your elements, make sure you're covering it in like a cloth or something, like really protecting it.
Oh, so it got like sat down, or the
she doesn't know for sure.
The case got taken off and sat down, or
fucking A. And then I won't say, it's not my story to tell, but it was funny. Let's just say that Scott has no idea what production does at all, ever. They're like, you should buy the fancy one, you'll love it. And you buy it and you're like, fuck this shit. I wish I had the older one.
I mean, the benefits are I think that you could look at it remotely from your phone or whatever.
If you have internet.
You can see the price of the firing if you input your electricity costs.
You can do that on the older one.
You can see a grid. You can see you can get the price on the old one?
Mm-hmm. You can do it on yours.
What do you mean?
You can see the price of your firings on your kiln with any electronic controller you can.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you get to that? What is that? In the other settings or something?
Google it.
No, I'm not saying do the math. I'm saying you input something.
No, Google it. Like, it tells you how to do it. You just have to get your bill, and you have to see how many kilowatts per hour. And then you have to, like, it's either in your instruction manual or I Googled it. That's what I was saying. Google it. I Googled how to do it, and all you have to do is, like, input your kilowatts per hour or whatever, and then it just pops it up. Yeah, my Scott did it. And it was the older one. Yeah. Piece of cake.
Okay. But yeah, screen, that's vulnerability.
Super vulnerable.
I mean, I can see somebody just like dropping a pot or something on that, or dropping something on it, or a shelf or something. I don't know, something hitting it.
Yeah, and she was saying it's not even a touch screen, it's like a push screen. You have to push it to get it to work. Yeah.
Okay. So that's how my day started. I did end up having my bisque kiln loaded too, so I fired that in the meantime.
Good.
I do think I need to replace elements on that Olympic soon, though.
Yeah.
I was looking up some elements, so I think I need to replace those.
Blech.
Not looking forward to that.
Fuck that shit.
Well, yeah, that's pretty much my day.
Nice.
How about you? I saw you threw a bunch of shit today.
So, if anybody out there doesn't know, I'm an extremely competitive human being. So if you want me to do anything faster than I am currently, you just tell me that somebody else is doing it faster than me. So like last night, I was hanging out with the other production potter, and he was like, yeah, I think I was throwing the crumbles like 50 an hour. And I was like, oh. So today, that was my goal. I threw 60 an hour.
Damn.
I had a hiccup. So I was using like a measuring tool that she made on a 3D printer. And then finally I was like, fuck this. And so I got the pointer out. The pointer's hard because they're super tiny bowls. And, but I got them down to like 45 seconds a piece. And,
nice.
So I was super stoked about that. I threw 176 crumbles today. And, nice. And now I'm making a Vietnamese banh mi pasta salad for lunch tomorrow and for dinner tonight.
What does that mean?
So a banh mi sandwich is a Vietnamese sandwich, and it has a lot of vegetables in it. It has like cucumbers, carrots, radishes, sometimes beets, sweet potatoes.
Is that like cooked and all that together? And you like top it?
Yeah, it's mostly like fresh. And so it's a sandwich, right? And then there's this restaurant in Leavenworth that does a sweet potato banh mi sandwich. And then I took that recipe and then I tweaked it into a pasta salad. So I use orzo, which is like rice noodles, like rice pasta, rice-shaped pasta. And,
yeah.
And then I add like a chipotle mayo. No, not a chipotle, a sriracha mayo, sriracha lime mayo. And then I add pickled cucumbers, carrots, radishes, and then mint, basil, cilantro, and sweet potatoes that are cooked and then cooled. And then potentially some chicken. I don't know for sure if I want to use chicken or not. Sometimes it's good without. But
that sounds like a lot of work and something that I will never eat.
It's not that much work, actually. It's all pretty much cold, so it's really just chopping and combining. Yeah. And then it has this nice,
a lot of
like,
things together, though.
Yeah, and it has this nice, like, soy, like banh mi sauce with it. It's got, like, miso and soy sauce and rice vinegar stuff. So that, yeah. So, yeah, it's one of my favorite dishes, actually, because,
really?
Well, the sweet potato banh mi from this place in Leavenworth is my favorite sandwich of all times. And I was super stoked to find, like, all times. I was super stoked to find a copycat recipe. So, yeah, anyway, so it's going good. I'm tired today, but...
Did you figure out your schedule? Did you change your schedule today versus before?
No. I walked around the studio and then, like, talked and chatted for a little bit, and then I think that might be I don't know. I was still there for, like, 7 hours, but I weighed out a bunch of clay, too. I weighed out probably, like, 150 pounds of clay, so that's not true. I weighed out probably, like, 156 ounces of clay, like 6 ounces.
150 balls of clay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, like, there's
a big difference between that.
Yeah. That's definitely not true. It was probably like 50 pounds of clay. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll figure it out. I brought a tarp from the studio so that I can hang it up so I don't have any distractions. So.
Oh, nice.
It's not even the throwing sections. Like, I throw in sets of 60, and that's fine. But what it is the in between those throwing sections. Like,
when you carry boards over to shelves?
No. It's like after I get done with 60 pots, like, I just waste time until I have to do the next 60 pots. Like, that's the problem.
Like, what do you do? Are you just getting up and walking around and talking to people, or what?
I think so.
Are you, like, going to get a snack, or?
Yeah, I don't know. I just, like, waste so much time. I don't know what it is.
Maybe it's like, I need to get, a bottle of water and drink this glass of water. By the time the glass is done, I need to get back to work.
Yeah. Yeah, or set a timer.
And, like, you can flail on your phone or whatever, but, like, the end of that glass is, like, back to work time.
That's it, yeah. Yeah. Well, and so, like, let's see. Today, I did an hour and a half, because that was the beginning. I did an hour and a half, and then I did an hour and 10 minutes. And then I did probably another hour of throwing, so I only threw 3.5 hours.
But you were there for 7?
Yeah, but I weighed out clay, which took a hell of a long time.
That's just your throwing time. Okay.
Yeah, that was just my throwing time. So I weighed out clay, and then I ate lunch, and I ate some snacks.
So. Okay. Yeah, I've never been under the whole thing of, like, I need to work this many hours. It's more like I need to take advantage of the only hours that I have available. So,
yeah,
like,
and
it's a different mentality.
Yeah, and it's weird. Like, I don't mind being there 7 hours. Yeah. Like, a ton of people would really be pissed off at, like, oh, I could have worked only 3.5 hours today, 4 hours if I worked all the way through and didn't eat anything. But,
what would you have done with the rest of your day if you would have been there for 3.5 hours?
Exactly. Like, what would I have done? Like, I have no problem being at the studio for 7 hours. Like, especially if I'm just taking it slow and doing whatever, as long as I get my work done. And I've thrown more. Right. I threw 176 pieces a day, so I threw more than I did the last couple days. So,
doing something right.
Yeah.
So maybe you don't feel bad about doing the distraction and taking longer. It's like
maybe I just need to get over that,
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's we're doing good. We're only at 14 minutes.
Yeah, what's up with this?
I know. What are we? All
right. So we are going to this is going to be our part 2 of the social media Instagram questions.
Yes.
And it was funny because we were looking at what to talk about today, and then I was kind of looking at some things, and then Becca was like, what if we talked about the social media one? And I had this hidden note that only I had, and then I shared it with Becca, and she was like, holy shit. Like, this is everything you didn't answer from the first one? So I was like, yeah. So we're going to answer a bunch of these questions, and some of this is going to be me talking, some of it's going to be both of us, and we'll have you'll get some feedback from both of us today. So hopefully you get some good answers here and answer a lot of your questions. There's so many, and I don't think we have the names of all the people that asked these, but thank you all for sending those. I know we asked for them quite a long time ago.
And if you guys have any more other random questions, make sure you send them in because our list is getting shorter. But we're not going to do any of the listener questions normally. We're just going to get to since this is literally an episode full of questions.
Yeah, I'm calling this is probably going to be 2 hours, but we'll see.
No, I want it to be an hour and a half.
We're not getting through all these in an hour and a half, but...
Okay, fine.
Unless you cut me off. Unless you're just like, all right, pineapple, stop talking. When you like a safe word, like, stop talking. Next.
Pineapples are a safe word.
All right. So, we're going to start off with a big one that people ask, and I'll try to do my best to explain it. Somebody said, please explain what the hell an algorithm is and how it all works. So... the way I like to explain this is a super low level simplified version of what Instagram is doing. So the way I like to think, and the reason I think of it this way is because I work in tech and I kind of know the kind of things that get captured through just working on websites and stuff like that through my big enterprise company. So if you don't think that Instagram is doing this kind of thing, you're probably shouldn't be surprised. But I would say Instagram, if you watch The Social Dilemma, they're trying to keep you on there as long as possible. They want the highest engagement. They want you on the app as long as possible. And they're trying to keep you on there by serving you the most relevant thing that you are going to engage with, whether it's liking it, commenting on it, and things like that. So when they show your feed, let's say I'm following 700 people. I'm not going to scroll through chronologically of every person that I follow and see their most recent posts because statistically, I'm probably more likely to disengage from certain people's posts. So if I start following Becca and post number 1 shows up and I like it, think of that as a counter. Like +1, I've engaged with 100% of Becca's posts. So I get like, it keeps, let's think of this like a counter on her Instagram profile. By itself. And then I see Josh's post and I don't engage with it. I don't like it or don't comment on it. Maybe that's a negative one because I didn't engage with the first one. So that's like 0% engagement. And then I see Becca's again and maybe I comment on the next one. That's like +2. Hey, I started engaging even more with hers. So if there's certain people that I follow, like if I see every one of Becca's posts, I'm going to heart every single one of her posts. So you better bet if Becca posts something between now and the next time I log in, I'm more likely to see hers at the very top. Mm-hmm. Same with my wife's Instagram. Same with probably Pitch Pine Pottery. I think I've liked every single one of their posts. Hammerly. There's a few people that anytime they post, I'm always going to like it 100% of the time. And that's just how I engage with it. I'm sure there are people that you follow that you engage with more. And then think of it if you comment on their post, maybe it does like +2 and it increases that level of engagement with their posts. So think of it like you individually as a user have a scorecard for every single person that you follow. And Instagram looks at that scorecard and says, let's see who's got the most recent posts that I have not seen yet, and let's serve them priority in that order, that person's post. And then there's some other factors in there of like, hey, they might not follow this person as consistently, but this post is abnormally getting a lot more engagement with it, even though they might not typically like 100% of their posts. Somebody else is engaging with it a lot, and that's where it's kind of like it's got to figure out what's being responded to from other people. Like, let's say a post gets like 2,000 likes and it normally gets like 200. There's something that's engaging with that post that people are liking a lot or commenting a lot or something like that. So it might be more likely to bump that up in the algorithm to show it to you first. I don't know. Is that a decent way to explain it?
Yeah, I think so. And I also think that it's like the way that I kind of think of it also is the algorithm in Instagram works the same way as the algorithm in Facebook. And a lot of people understand the algorithm in Facebook because it's a little bit more apparent because they have pages essentially. And their feeds, they can, like sometimes you'll see Uncle Bob's posts like pretty frequently and then they kind of just drop off the face of the planet and then they come back. But they only come back once you're like, oh, when, where was Bob? Like, when did I see Bob's post? And then you go search for him and you go find him. And then you maybe like some of his posts, and then it kind of like pops up again. So
it's like, it's really like, hey, they're interested in this person again, and maybe they liked a couple of their posts.
Yeah, so it's like really looking for what is popular in your brain. So
at the moment too, like right in this moment.
Exactly. And I think that so you said reference a social dilemma. If you haven't seen the social dilemma on Netflix, you definitely should because it explains it extremely well on how algorithms kind of work and how they kind of look. They're kind of like just trying to cater to whatever you're doing. I think TikTok is a really good example of how algorithms work. TikTok, I feel like, is the only social media network that's just like, yeah, we're looking at what you want and we're going to give you exactly what you want. Like, that's it. We're not going to give you anything else. Like, if you start liking, like, I started liking cat videos and now all I have is like animal videos on my TikTok. And, so I think that that's a really good example of how that works. So, for Instagram especially, I make sure that I am kind of like, if I don't see somebody for a while, I'll like go to their page and like a few of their posts, try to get them back onto my feed and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're pretty much guaranteed. And one thing to notice too, if you start following somebody, I can almost guarantee it the next time that you go back to your feed, you're gonna see their post at the very top, or the next time you go in there, the next day or whatever, it's gonna kind of surface some of their more recent posts in there to start getting that scorecard updated for them, so that they could get more data around.
Yeah.
You started following them. Are you actually like engaging with their stuff? Where do we fit? Because they want to get the most recent and most up to date people that you're engaging with.
Yep.
So. Yeah. Same thing with the whole going to their page, and if you like 5 of their posts, then it's probably going to serve that stuff up to you next time you get in there.
Now, here's a question. I feel like the story algorithm and the post algorithm are kind of separate.
I think they are separate. It's okay. Who you engage with most of stories, too. Who are you most likely to tap through their things longer? What's your average watch time on stories for them? Do you swipe away and like exit out of their stories a lot? If you do, then they're probably going to deprioritize them because, I follow 700 people. I'm not watching 700 people's stories because there's a lot more stories per person. So on average, I probably look at, I don't know per day, but I'll probably look at like 30 people's stories per day, maybe.
Huh. You're only following 700 people?
What's that?
You're only following 700 people?
I don't know. Am I? Can you? I'm just guessing, but I was just using that as an example. But yeah, the
you're only
stories are
following
separate,
844. I'm following like 2,000. God, you don't support people very much.
I think. I think I have to also like. I follow people that actually like their stuff for sure. Like I follow them if I want to see their stuff in my feed.
Yeah.
I'm not usually a follow for follow kind of thing, and like I know that it's going to show up in my feed, and I want to see certain things in my feed.
Yeah, I can understand that. I like a lot of things, so I follow a lot of people.
But following a lot of people, I mean, you probably don't see, but 4% of those people. So
I know, it's insane and frustrating. Okay, how do I get my work to a wider audience? I know hashtags are big, and I've done some looking into it, but I don't think it's helped much. Do you have any tools to use to help manage social media or the use of it, or your use of it?
I don't. I use the built-in insights in the business profile. So if you have a business profile, you can go to Profile Insights or Post Insights, which if you're just on any post, you can hit View Insights at the bottom of the picture, right above where the comments and stuff are. That's a good indicator of seeing how that individual post is doing, but it's probably better to go to your profile and look at insights there, and then that's going to show all of them in relation to each other. So you can just go to like posts and look at the last 7 days or last 30 days and choose a different metric to sort them by. So you could sort it by, reach, which is just how many people saw it, or I think reach is technically like unique accounts that saw it, and impressions is number of people. And then you could go to like likes or comments or, different things like that. And it'll organize it just by your posts. You could do the same for stories and see what stories are most seen over a 7-day or 14-day or whatever period. The hashtag part is harder. You have to go actually into the post to see the hashtag traction, like how much traction you got from people that actually saw it from the hashtags. So it gives you different categories in the post insights, and it'll give you from the let's see, what do you call it? It gives you the different impressions. So impressions is just total number of people. So think of that as your biggest number that you're going to see on an individual post. So for instance, this one had the thing I posted today, 5,000 impressions, 3,200 were from the home screen. So that, I believe that means that they follow me and they saw me from their feed. They were scrolling. 1,200 were from the explore page. So these were people that were going over and searching and just scrolling through things that Instagram surfaces that they think you're interested in, but you're not necessarily already following them. Do you notice if you're in the explore, you probably don't see anybody that you're already following in there, right? You're
trying to find new people. Like, I don't go to there very often, but when I do, I feel like I see all new people, which is exciting.
Yeah. So explore is just people discovering you that don't already follow you. And then this specific post had 524 from hashtags. So that was people that are searching hashtags, or maybe they follow a hashtag. Maybe they follow the ceramics hashtag or cone6 or whatever that I tagged on this individual post. And then they clicked through on that hashtag to my post.
Now, I'm going to add like a sub question about hashtags and making a wider audience. I feel like a while back we kind of talked about, like a long time ago, me and you talked about hashtags within stories. Do you think that helps broaden your audience?
I don't use hashtags in stories anymore. It really had a good traction back in the day, probably a couple years ago when I started using hashtags in stories. And then I think they like desurfaced those. Or like the algorithm changed, which they have control of how they do it. And I saw, because you used to be able to see, hey, you use these hashtags and X number of people saw you from those hashtags. Yeah. And you could really tell, because if you hashtagged only certain stories, typically your most recent story is going to have the most views, and then it's going to gradually go down. Think of it like a funnel. Fewer people are going to see all of your stories if it's the last of 12 stories, if that makes sense.
Right.
Your first one's going to have the most. So you would oddly kind of see a big spike on certain ones. Maybe it's the sixth one in and it had the most views on it, and that was because you had a hashtag added to that story. I don't think it has as big of an impact now as it used to. And you could test this out. If you just put a hashtag on your story or two, I think do like one or two. Don't do more than that. I think there was a thing about like if you use more than 5, or I would say try it with 1 or 2 and then see what happens. See if you get an extra number of people that see it and if it has any effect. I don't think it does anymore, but I haven't used them in quite a bit because it stopped working. So I just see it as like you're clogging up your story a little bit too, to like people can tell you're trying to get more eyeballs on it by putting. You know how many times I've avoided saying eyeballs already?
I think that's the most endearing part of you, Ryan.
One sneaked out.
Eyeballs. I think it's great. I actually love that you say eyeballs. What nobody knows is that when I listen to the podcast, which I got a little bit of the way in, I didn't get all the way through because I couldn't, because I just know everything that he's about to say. So I just couldn't. Anyway, I wish that I would have started counting and drinking every time that Ryan had said eyeballs in his single episode, because he said it so many times.
And then what do? You take a shot whenever you can hear a sip of my water?
Yeah. We should create like a Wheel Talk podcast drinking game. That would be so much fun, especially for everybody that listens on Saturday mornings.
Take a sip of tea on Saturday morning.
Oh man, I brewed some tea and I didn't drink it. Anyway, moving on.
It's cold now.
What I will say is this. I have found, and this is not on Instagram, but on Facebook, I have found that share this link has really benefited me. And I feel like you could use that to your advantage on Instagram as well. Like, you could probably do it in, so let's say, okay, if I was going to increase my views and widen my audience on Instagram and I was doing a sale, what I would potentially do is this. So, and this is what I used to do on Facebook. I'm having a flash sale. These are I'm selling bowls. These are what the price is going to be. This is the time, blah, blah, blah. If you share this post, you will get a free pinch pot, or you will get a free...
With your order. So they have to order something in order to order something. The free thing.
You'll get a free pinch pot with your order, or you'll get a free button. And then what you have to do is make sure that when they order it, there's an option that says, hey, did you share this or not? And it's on the honor system. Because people are actually honest. But yeah, that's a good way to widen your audience, because then they're going to share it. Especially you could say, share this on your stories. Because I feel like I don't look at posts anymore almost at all. I only look at stories. So, they'd share it on their stories, and who knows who would see that after, through that. Right. So I do feel like, if you strategically plan your sales and plan your marketing strategies through that, and say, if you share this, you get this, or you get $3 off.
And that doesn't seem schemy to me. You're incentivizing, they're getting something out of it.
Yeah.
So for their effort to share to their audience takes 10 seconds.
10 seconds.
They know what they're doing.
And also,
and they get a free thing out of it if they already planned to order. So
yeah, and I always said sharing is caring. I always put it on the post. Sharing is caring. Please help a poor bitch out. Something like that. But but not a discount does not work as well as a physical item. So you want to do a physical item that's small, that's cheap, that, a tiny little pinch pot that you can make in 2 seconds.
Ooh, shot glass.
Or shot glass.
Oh.
Yeah, you could do that. And I think that it would work really well. So anyway, I just wanted to add that to it. Okay, let's go to the next question.
Yeah, that was kind of a general question. How do I get my work to a wider audience? But I think you need to mix it up. You need to use the hashtags. You need to do posts. You need to do stories. You need to do a assortment of things. Because they reach different people. Like you said, you only watch stories now. And like some other people, they only scroll on posts. So
totally. Okay, we're going to smush the next 2 questions together because I feel like they're relevant. Because you did a good job at making all of these relevant. To the next one. How do you find the best tags so that you can get seen? And can you please talk about text replacement for hashtag tricks?
Yeah. So another one about hashtags. So what I do, you got to do your homework a little bit here. So spend, if you're going to be scrolling on Instagram anyways, why not do a little research and do a little, market research. So what I try to do is get a variety of hashtags. 30 is your cap. You can put up to 30 on any post or like Instagram TV video or, reel or whatever. So 30 is the cap. I would say take that 30, cut it down into 10s, do 10 that are in a certain range, and the range for the whole thing. For all 30, I would say look for hashtags that fall within the, I said 10,000 to 500,000 range. Could be maybe a million range. And what that means is if you go to the hashtag, so if you go to the search section and search pottery, there are tags. 10.1 million posts using that hashtag. So that's the number that I'm referring to when I say 10K to 500K. So look for things that are specific enough that they're going to be in that range. And the reason I say that is you're competing with a lot of different posts that use that same thing. So think of yourself as like a drop of water in a humongous sea. Do you think you're going to get seen in that humongous pool of people if you only use hashtag pottery, hashtag ceramics, hashtag clay? There are millions of people using that. I would say avoid those. Use something more specific. The longer it is, too, the more specific it's going to be, the fewer people are going to be using it, too.
Yeah, so like instead of pottery, you would say pottery studio or pottery project or
handmade pottery or wheel thrown pottery. That's usually what I do. So like wheel thrown pottery, wheel thrown ceramics. The more specific they are, the more niche of that group and the more focused it's going to be. So, and what you're looking for is some people search on those. Some people follow those tags. So we'll do pottery studio. Let's see how many that has. Pottery studio even has 505,000 posts.
Yeah.
Pottery Studio Life.
Most of them are probably from
17,000 posts. So, and the way you do that, just search like general hashtags, and then you can scroll through and see other ones that kind of surface from that. Or you can look at related. I think if you go to certain hashtags, you can see like related hashtags and kind of just keep a list. Just jot down a list of, hey, this is the hashtag. This is how many posts we're using it. And pick a handful of them. And then try them out for the next 2 weeks. Try out these 10 for the next 2 weeks, and then pick out these other 10 and try those. Maybe you have 10 in the 10,000 range, you have 10 in the 50,000 range, and you have 10 in the 200,000 range.
Yeah.
Or 100,000 to 500,000. Try it that way. The reason to mix it up is, like I said, you are more likely to surface to the top in a 10,000 range. If your post is really good, you're getting a lot of good engagement on it. And then there are few people looking at it, but you're more likely to rise to the top. If you're in the 50 to 100,000 range, there's more people that are in that bucket that are looking at those hashtags. And, you could get more people that could get to your post from that if you do happen to surface high enough. And then the really high ones, like if your post has crazy amount of engagement and so many people are liking it and you fall in that 100,000 to 500,000, you're going to get even more people that end up seeing your post. And that's where you kind of go like viral or something like that, where you just get an exorbitant amount of people that'll see your post and like it. And I mean, at the end of the day, you really have to have good engaging content where it's a really good photo or a really amazing piece. And like the photo quality and all that definitely is forefront. Your hashtags are only going to do so much if your photo's shit, So that's what I try to do. And if you look at mine, I use a lot of the same ones. One other thing that I do in my, probably 10 of my hashtags are a lot of location specific ones. So there are a lot of Kentucky ones, Cincinnati ones, Kentucky Proud, Kentucky Made, stuff like that. And that's because I want people that are local to me that will support me, because I do a lot of in-person shows. I want people to support me that can actually physically come to a show, whether it's in Louisville or Cincinnati or whatever, or they're just, hey, I want to support somebody that's actually in my state. I know that my money, if I end up paying for something, it's going to get to me quickly, or maybe I can visit, or I know someone that's in the area and they like stuff that's local, so I'm going to buy from this person that's in Kentucky. Or they're like, hey, I live near this person. I didn't even know that somebody that is this talented like lived that close to me, or something like that. That's why I focus a number of them in my area. So I would say mix it up that way too. The numbers in my area are going to be a lot lower too.
Pause.
Because there's not as many people.
A good like example of when a hashtag can really work for you, and this is not on Instagram, but it is on TikTok, and it's kind of relatable, is that when I did my very first post that went super viral on TikTok, I just randomly put in teacher problems, which is a super weird hashtag, right? Teacher
Did you already
problems.
follow it, or did you already see some people that used it or anything?
No. I was thinking about it, and it was 1 a.m, and I was like, teacher problems. Because it was all about pulling a handle in front of a 16-year-old girl whose dad wanted to learn how to pull the handle. So it was really awkward. And because my video went viral, my video is at the at the top of that hashtag in TikTok. So it I'm trying to get to it. It benefited me greatly.
Yeah, so you're going to get a crazy number of people and also keep them relevant. I know some people might be tempted to like throw random ones on there that are really trending or really popular, but I would say keep them as relevant as possible. I mean, there's a way. Yeah. If it's super off topic and somebody's scrolling through hashtag Drake or something and you see a bunch of stuff with Drake related posts, and then you're like, why the hell is there pottery in here? I mean, maybe it'll pull their eyes away and say, hey, let me tap on that. What the hell is that? But I'd say keep it pretty relevant.
I'm still on the top page. I'm like 6 down. 6 down nice. From the top. Because it got
that's probably a really niche group. It's kind of like
it's super
small
niche.
Business memes kind of thing, where it's like so specific and people just really like engaging with that because it's like funny, or like it relates to them so much that they just love it. So yeah, and I would say give it time. Like, don't put hashtags on there and be like, oh, it didn't work. Like, you've got to do it over time as well. So play around with a handful of them, and I probably need to update mine. I probably need to go into a few of mine and say, like, is this working? And one thing I will do is once you get 2 weeks in there, you can go to those hashtags and kind of check in and scroll through and see how long it takes until you see your post or one of your posts or a couple of your posts. And that's a good kind of barometer of seeing how it's working.
Yep.
It's a good.
Okay, let's talk about text replacement.
Yeah, so some people are like, how do you get all 30 in there? Like, that's a lot of work. So one thing you can do is just type it into notes and save it as, here's all 30 of my hashtags, and I'm just going to copy and paste it from this notes section into my app, and I got to go between the apps or whatever. So what I was doing was finding a way that's built into the phone, and what you could do on iPhone, I'm sure this is on Android too. Yeah, we have iPhones. So if you go to General, in your settings, General, Keyboard, Text Replacement, you can set whatever you want, and what this is going to do is it's going to basically do like a shortcut. So I think the built-in one is OMW on iPhone, and that's going to replace it with On My Way. So that if you're just typing, it's going to OMW, and you hit space, and it'll replace it with whatever that longer form version of it is. And you specify whatever you want to do here. So what I do is I do hashtag CER, and that replaces it with hashtag ceramic art space, hashtag ceramica space, hashtag ceramique space, and then however long you want to do. There's no like character limit or anything like that. So whenever I do that, I know that when I do that shortcut or that text shortener, hashtag CER, I know that all those are going to be related to ceramics. If I do hashtag KY, that's for Kentucky, I know it's going to replace it with all of my location-specific relevant hashtags, and it's going to be about 10 to 12 or however many I have specified. And I would encourage you to do that. That's an easy way to save a batch of them that are related in some fashion. I think I have a hashtag PRO for process. I don't really use those anymore. Or like hashtag small for like small business, support small business, probably shop small or small business Saturday or something like that. So that's a good way to just batch your hashtags. Or you could just do like hashtag 123 or whatever. And then that's your 30 hashtags that get spit out when you want to use that batch of them. Whatever's going to make sense to you. I mean, I do this on my phone for like, I don't want to have to type in my website all the time. So I'll do like RD dot, and that replaces it with RyanDurbinCeramics.com or whatever, or my email.
But make sure that if you do use it, that you don't forget about it, because that happens to me a lot. Like it happens
a lot with my...
Well, like I had it like to text replace for hashtag like pottery or whatever, and I would do hashtag POT, and I was starting to do it for TikTok, and then would add in like 6 different words.
Hashtags.
And I was like, what the heck is going on? And I've forgotten that I'd done the text replacement. Also, I recommend doing it in sets of 5. Did you say that?
I did it. It just depends on what it is. Usually I kind of just do it in whatever I do it based on how relevant it is. So if it's hashtag ceramics, I do ones that are related to that word. So
I know, but I would say do it in sets of 5. If you want to do it in sets of 5, you can do that 10, so you know how many. That way, you know. Yeah.
But I mean, it's also fairly easy to count them. Usually I know that the ones that I typically do, I know I have an extra like 3 to use.
Yeah.
And I would also say the last thing for hashtags, always use a hashtag that's relevant to you specifically. So every single post that I do, I put hashtag RD Ceramics on it.
I do hashtag SuperPotLady.
There you go. That way it ties back to your brand, and if people use that hashtag and they're sharing your stuff, they can do hashtag whatever. And that just keeps it with your brand, and pretty much I'm the only one that uses it, but it's kind of cool to have that. And
if you look up SuperPotLady, if you look up hashtag SuperPotLady, it goes right to me, which is kind of cool. Kind of fun.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Are you ready for the next one?
I think I should read the next one.
Why? I'm interviewing you.
No, I already answered this partially.
Okay.
All right. So this question was actually kind of a follow-up from the first episode. So the person who asked this said that they didn't quite mean what I kind of took from it. So the question was, how do you keep social media from negatively affecting your mental health? And I think that was the last question that I talked about on that episode. So I think I talked a lot about comparison and like comparing yourself to yourself and not getting down on comparing yourself to other people and stuff like that. But what they mention here is they want to know how the engagement with your post can create a sense of worthiness versus unworthiness. I know many people, myself included, have struggled with tying their self-worth to the engagement they receive on social media. So that's kind of what she was getting at with the question, and I didn't exactly get that from it. But
like how many people like your posts and stuff like that?
Yeah. So you put a post up, you expect it to do well, or and I know I do often go in there throughout the day and just kind of get a pulse on like how the posts are doing, but I generally know that I'm gonna keep posting stuff, and the numbers are gonna be what the numbers are. I can't dictate what the numbers are. My photo and my caption, like everything that I've done to this point, is already kind of out there, and the audience and the market is gonna decide how much they engage with it or like it or whatever. I feel like it's out of my control at that point. So I generally don't get down and don't get affected by stuff that's out of my control. But I can see how a lot of people can get tied to those numbers and feel like their stuff is not good enough because they're not getting as many likes as they thought they would.
Yeah.
Or they feel that they should be getting. What do you think?
I think it takes a long time to realize that. Well, I mean, I've completely stopped looking at likes, like after, because like I had like a 3-year drought of Instagram where everything was like, I literally didn't grow more than 100 followers for like 2.5 years. And I was at like 3,000.
You're probably getting bumped down in that algorithm because you weren't posting that much, or your posts weren't consistent, so people weren't engaging with it.
Or they weren't good or whatever.
Yeah.
But eventually I was just like, fuck this, I don't care. And it's so freeing, you know? Like, I post things now and I don't even look at what like, who likes it or who doesn't. And I think that, it's really hard to get to that point. And,
it's like a losing game, right? You're not gonna, what positive are you gonna get from it?
Yeah.
To worry about the nitty gritty of, this person didn't like it, or
people can't help it, you know, like, it's like this mental thing inside of you. Like, I know that you're like a fucking rock and you don't have emotions compared to like the technology and shit, but like some people do, and I totally get it. And because like I had that issue with like TikTok for a long time, and I was like, oh my god, are people liking my posts or whatever? And I think it just takes time, and it takes, you know, it's more about the outcome as opposed to who is looking at it, or, you know, like I would much rather reach one person and sell one mug than reach 20 people and sell no mugs at all, you know? And I think that it's, I think that the way that you can kind of surpass that social media, like anxiety, as you will, is to just be as much of yourself as possible, you know, like be the quirky person that you are. And if it works for some people, it works. And, you know, you'll reach your people when you start like showing your true self and being authentic. And once that starts to happen, then you'll see that you're getting sales from that or what have you. And then you won't be looking as much. You won't be looking at those numbers as much because it won't matter to you as much, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of like, would you rather have 100 acquaintances, or would you rather have like 5 really strong friends, or 10 really strong friends that you can trust on, that you depend on, that you really know, versus just really like you're able to say hi and like thanks so much, but how engaged are they, or how in depth do they appreciate my stuff or like my stuff?
Right.
Versus they're just like, oh, I like occasionally like your stuff and it's cool. I mean, there are people that have 3,000 followers or like 5,000 followers that sell out every single time, and they're still making like a decent amount of stuff. So just because you don't have X number of followers doesn't mean that you're not able to reach the audience that likes you and wants to buy your stuff.
Yeah, and I think
it can't meet the demand that you have for your work, you know?
Yeah, like a good example of that is like in the opposite direction is like I have almost 200,000 followers on TikTok right now. And I'll post one video and it'll maybe get like 5,000 views, you know, because I'm not really engaging with my audience right now. Maybe before I'd moved, it'd be like 15,000 each time. But like my engagement is super duper low because I don't give a shit, to be completely honest. But yeah, so like the opposite direction, like, you know, you can have 1 billion followers. You can have 1 billion followers or a ton of followers or whatever, and have no engagement at all. So keep that in mind. Like it's not really about what the numbers are. It's about how valuable those numbers are.
And also realize numbers are just numbers at the end of the day. You can't really get a true gauge on whether every single person's numbers are completely 100% accurate. And did they grow that organically?
Right.
Or did they have like a super viral post that went crazy one time and they got 50,000 people that started following them after that? And then they're still the same person the day before, but 50,000 people now see their stuff now. I mean, you know, shit can happen like that. But, I mean, I still look back at some of my IGTV videos that I've done demos, and it's like I'm throwing a plate, and that got like 500 views. But I have a recent one that's like throwing a mug or putting handles on a mug, and it's got like 15,000. And I'm like, I feel like this plate one was way better, and people people don't go back and rewatch stuff that you've already have in your inventory. I do sometimes reference it like, oh, I'd love to see how you throw this. And I'll be like, hey, go back to this video because I posted it. It's there. It's kind of like a YouTube channel. Like, hey, it's there in the inventory. You can go see it. But they're not getting the views again. Like, if I were to delete that video and repost it, it would get way more views. But...
Or maybe not.
Just because the audience is bigger. Or maybe not.
Okay, so wait. Can we, like, cap this at 1 hour and 30 minutes today?
I can't even see where we're at. 55. That's fine.
Okay, cool. Mostly because I'm a little bit drunk. Not a ton.
I mean, you look tired as hell.
I'm fucking tired. And also I have to finish making dinner. And it's already 9. It's already 10. Okay, let's move on. I feel like this is us making notes like in the middle of a podcast. Okay, how often does one need to post on social media to stay in people's memory bank?
So the first note I had on here is it's better to post something of good quality over posting because you feel like you have to post. Typically, I post about 5 times a week now. If you set your own goal, maybe your goal is to post once a week. Maybe you don't have a lot of content in the bank. Maybe you don't have very interesting pictures. Yeah. Or you haven't taken photos of, you know, the last 2 kiln loads that you unloaded because you were in a rush to get them sold or something or get them listed or whatever. I would say it's better to post a good quality thing over posting for meeting your quota. So, you know, other people might post 3 days a week. You know, really, really big accounts, they might only post once a week. But they already have all the people, like, watching them, so...
But let's say you had really great photos. How many times would you post a week?
I wouldn't post more than once a day.
Okay.
Personally. If I had all the photos in the world. But you got to mix it up. So you can't... Don't post a lot of the exact same thing day after day. Like, don't post a finished piece every single day that you post. Because it's going to feel repetitive. That's why I try to mix up posting, you know, a reel once a week maybe or twice a week, and finished photos every now and then, maybe once a week or twice a week, and then I'll post like greenware or thrown stuff once a week, and then maybe I'll post a video that's something else every 10 days or something where it's like a demo or something like that.
And look at the accounts that you admire, and look at how often they are posting and what kind of pictures that they are posting as well. That kind of helps with like research, and you know, if you're looking to become a brand much like the ones that you admire, then you know you can kind of not copy their content, but you can copy their system essentially.
Yeah. And just because you don't feel like you're the best person to be demoing something, like there's 100 mug demonstration videos, but they don't know how you make your mug, and don't feel like, oh, it has to be perfect. Somebody's going to be judging how I'm doing this. Post it. There's a lot of people that don't have any clay experience that follow you that would love to see how you do what you do.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
Just make sure that you're conscious of, like, you know, good lighting, or, you know, be conscious of that stuff so that it's decent quality when you're going to post it.
You could literally, for some people, you could do the stupidest thing in the whole world that we think is the stupidest thing. And people would be like, oh my God, that is so cool. It's
You
crazy.
mean non-clay people?
Yeah, non-clay people.
Yeah.
How much time do you dedicate to social media?
All right. So they were asking about, for instance, posting and writing captions and hashtags and planning photos and videos. So these days I do not, time dedicated. So average, I'm on Instagram about 2 hours and 15 minutes a day.
Wow.
This week.
That's a lot.
How often are you on there? You said you were at like 30 or 40. You're probably like 45 minutes a day on Instagram, or 30 minutes maybe.
Well, not now. I don't know.
Not now? I mean, you say you only watch stories, but...
What? How do I find it?
Go to your profile and then go to the dash at the top. Fun fact, that dash at the top right, in technical terms, that's called a hamburger menu.
A hamburger menu.
Yeah, because it looks like a hamburger. It looks like a bun, patty, bun. Like 3 lines.
Oh.
In web development, you call that a hamburger menu.
Your activity.
Yeah.
Time. Daily average 59 minutes.
59. Okay. So that's the average amount of time that I'm on there. And that's not just posting. That's a lot of that's watching stories. I wish it would break it down even more. It'd be cool if it showed. I'm sure it'll get to that at some point. I'm sure they're capturing that data. How long are you on stories? How long are you in messages? How long are you on Explore? How long are you scrolling through your feed? Like, they could totally give you all that info. That'd probably be scary. But, yeah, generally, I'm not really, like, strategizing my posts these days or strategizing my captions or hashtag. Obviously, my hashtags are super quick. I use the same ones. I've been using the same ones for months, and I probably need to refresh them. And my captions are pretty much off the top of the head. I think about what I want to talk about, try to build some excitement about something that I'm making, or, you know, if I share like, hey, I haven't posted a new, like, finished work lately, so maybe I'll share some finished work. And I think my one day was, hey, I just unloaded some beauties from the kiln, and these came out really nice, and really looking forward to getting some more pieces through, or getting some more bowls made or something like that. And I try to, you know, kind of do that off the top of my head. So not too much planning. I mean, you can do that if you have the time to. Honestly, I do not have the time to do that. But the only planning that I do is I do go through my camera roll, because I have, like, you know, 12,000 pictures or some shit. It's a crazy number. And then I do generally favorite photos every now and then, just because I'm like, hey, that's going to be a good photo to post in the future.
Yeah.
That gives me something to filter down, having to scroll through my camera roll until I get to something that I like. And generally, I'm only picking photos that are within the last, like, month or so. I don't dig too deep, but don't feel bad if you do have to dig deep into your camera roll and pick out something that's, like, 3 months old. As long as it's still, like, good quality photo. Maybe it was just a piece you unloaded but you forgot to share, but it came out really nice, and, like, maybe tell a story about why you... Maybe tell people that you discovered this in your camera roll and you forgot to post it, and the reason that you liked it, or something like that. You know, put some substance to your captions, and generally I'm not planning too much. The only planning I'm doing is just making sure I mix up the type of posts, and then thinking ahead of, you know, I haven't posted a demo video lately, so, you know, in the next week or two, while I'm throwing something, I'll be conscious to, you know what, while I'm throwing 20 of these, maybe the 15th one, I'm going to actually talk through and demo how I'm doing it. That way we can post that in the future, and that's like a good long form video. But, yeah. And you could also save the drafts on your photos too. I know you're like, let's get going.
Sorry,
you can go
like the next question.
You can go to if you go to a photo, and as long as you edit something. So generally I'll pick a photo and then I'll change the brightness like 5 or 10%, like 5. And then you can go back. If you hit the back button, it'll say, do you want to discard or do you want to save draft? You can save that as a draft, and that'll save that photo at the top the next time that you go to post a new post.
Huh.
That way you can, like, get to it quickly. So I did that recently, and I drafted like 7 photos that I knew were going to be good quality to put in my feed. So now I got a batch of some bowls that I can post, and some spoon rests and shot glasses, and I can pull from those when I get, you know, hey, I probably need to post a couple times this week, and I haven't posted shot glass in a while, so let's go to these drafts and pick one of those and talk about it. So.
If you were zoning out just now, go back, rewind a minute, and just listen to that, because that was valuable information.
Do you ever draft any posts?
No, I've never drafted a post.
Yeah, you can do that. One thing to do, though, do not log out of your Instagram account, because the drafts are tied with a logged in Instagram account.
Got it.
So don't draft like 50 things, because if you for some reason get logged out of your account, you're screwed, and those drafts are going to go, they're gone.
And you're fucked. Okay, yeah. Next question. I like this question. How in the world do you make time for it all? You seem so dedicated and appear to spend a lot of time creating such great content. Just curious about your time breakdown, which I feel like you already kind of mentioned a little bit. But how do you do it?
I think it just becomes a habit, you know? You figure out what you want to spend your time doing. I am conscious that I want to mix up my posts throughout the time. I know when I'm unloading to kill, and hey, these are like golden opportunities to take photos of stuff.
Yeah.
It takes no time to just set a few pieces aside, be like, all right, when they're on this shelf, that means I need to take some photos of them. That way they're not sold, and then I'm like, oh shit, I didn't capture those to share on Instagram. So you just got to kind of build it into your daily routine. Just like, you know, some people are like, how the hell do you post 12 stories a day? I've been posting 12 stories a day for like 3 years. It's like, whenever I'm in the studio, I habitually, at the end of the night or throughout the day, do the recap. Recap takes me 2 minutes. The editing the text takes me like 5 minutes. I post it. Done. I've been doing that for 3 years.
Yeah,
like
it doesn't...
I have 3 years of practice doing that, so that it becomes just habitual, and it doesn't seem like it takes a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of forethought.
It doesn't take him that much time. I mean, I've been there when he has done it. You know, it takes 30 seconds, 40, you know, maybe a minute to do it, like, in the studio, and then he goes upstairs, and then he quickly does the text, and then he posts it, and that's it.
Captions, and yeah.
5 minutes, wham, bam, bam, wham, bam, thank you.
And
man.
then the post, I mean, the one thing that I do notice is I get distracted. So, like, if you were over the weekend, I could not do a post while you and Rachel were, like, talking.
Right.
And I was in the same room. Like, I need, like, my own headspace to make a post.
I agree.
And, like, you got to think about what you're going to say and make sure the hashtags are good. And then, like, you're kind of crafting it. And, yeah. And don't feel like you have to do everything.
Yeah.
Don't make it so much like, okay, I gotta do all the hashtags, and I gotta, like, find the perfect caption, and, like, just try to be yourself. Try to make it, you know, genuine, and say something that excites you about it, and then
remember,
like, post it. Don't feel like it has to be perfect.
Remember, a genuine follower is 10 times more valuable than a fake follower. Maybe 100 times more valuable, actually.
And realize that your post is like a drop in the bucket for the number of posts that you're going to have in your lifetime. So just think of it as, I'm doing this little bitty thing, but I'm going to be doing it for years.
Yep.
And it's just, you're just doing little bits of it over time. So.
Okay.
All right.
I feel like this is kind of a shmeh question. I mean, like, it's a good question, but I think we've kind of already answered it. Do you dedicate time for business-related social media? All of your social media is business-related. So
yeah. It should be like, how do you, like, put in time to share stuff that's outside of business so it doesn't feel like you're selling stuff all the time? Yeah, the non-business stuff is like sharing stories with the cats or with Rachel, or funny stories, or, you know, making a tiki drink, or talking about doing the podcast.
Yeah, our problem is making posts that aren't business related.
Yeah, my posts are all business.
Actually...
I feel like I don't post personal stuff or off-topic stuff, off-brand stuff in my post, unless it's a caption. But
right, we don't actually have non-business related social media, so except for Facebook, which you have to have, which is kind of annoying. But
yeah, I generally personal accounts, personal Facebooks, personal Instagrams. That takes up no time.
Yeah.
Of my brain.
Me neither. So.
I just don't think it, like, there's nothing I want to say personally that I feel like I can't say on the business account and keep it, like, related to business, because the business is kind of what I care about outside of my, like, day job.
Right.
Like, that's the personality that I'd rather nurture than trying to own, like, a public social persona, or like a personality about me only and my views. It's like,
I feel like personal Facebook accounts are the same as business Facebook accounts. They're just not making money.
Yeah. And then the only other business thing, like, I do think about, you know, when I'm going to be posting stories, hey, I probably need to make a preview for this sale coming up, and I try to keep it like, hey, I need to do a reminder so that people can get a countdown reminder, and I need to like time my posts so that I'm letting people know, and I'm not just dropping it the day before saying, hey, I'm going to post new stuff tomorrow in the shop, and then people have no runway or knowledge of it. And I'm just kind of like trickling little bits in their ear over like a week, so that way I'm more like business focused for that week as I'm dropping hints about this restock that I'm doing, for instance. So one topic could be like, hey, I'm going to do a big spoon rest restock in February at some time. So I've probably made 4 posts or something over this month talking about spoon rests or sharing all my stories of you've seen all the spoon rests I've been making. And I'm glazing a bunch and like unload them out of the kiln. So like those are little bitty trickles and little bits of like business things that I'm like putting out there. So maybe building the hype a little bit so that when I do release them, it has a better chance of getting good results.
Yeah. How do you keep your posts fresh instead of repetitive, especially when in production mode?
I generally work in the fashion that I always have pieces in various stages of the process. I could be throwing one day and I could be glazing the next day. I don't work in batches where I'm throwing everything, handling everything, trimming everything, and like I don't work chronologically like that.
Yeah.
So it's easier for me to mix up the content. But if you do work in that fashion, I would say just take a lot of photos so that when you do need to get some finished work photos, if you're not unloading kilns this week, you can still share older photos of things that you're planning to like restock, or some glaze combos that really spoke to you that you were taking it, keeping in mind, so that when you finish your next batch of bowls that you use that glaze combo or something like that, so that you don't feel like it's so chronological of exactly what's happening in that moment.
Right. That's good info. Yeah, that's a good advice.
I mean, we talked to Tara and Matt, and they said that they sell out of everything, right?
Yeah.
So they have to capture all of their photos for the upcoming month within like a week of them unloading their kiln and doing all that creative work to get the good photography for the whole next month, because all they're doing is making, right? So they have to be creative with how they do that.
Yeah. This has kind of already been answered, but I think the second question is good in it. Is it better to post daily? We've already discussed that. Probably yes. When you can, or at specific times of day. I think that we should talk about specific times of day if it matters.
I would say just avoid posting at midnight or something like in the middle of the night. Like if I'm about to go to bed at 1 o'clock, I'm not going to post then. I'll probably wait until the next day at like 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock in the morning to post.
I've heard that 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. 10 a.m. and like 6 to 7 p.m. are good. Because just think about when you're on Instagram.
Yeah. A lot of people are in 9-to-5 jobs. They're about to go to work and they, wake up. What do I do the first thing I wake up? I'm on my phone for 10 minutes and I'm scrolling on Instagram or whatever. Or I'm reading all the messages to zero out my inbox. And then, that's like 8:30, not like think of that as like 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock or 7 to 8 or whatever time people wake up, 7 to 9. And then think of, hey, people are eating lunch around noon. Do people get their lunch and they eat and they scroll on Instagram? Probably.
That's what I do. Between
like noon and 3. Also think about the different time zones. So like East Coast, West Coast and stuff like that. And then, or if you're out of the country, like there are people in other countries that are looking on their phones throughout the whole day. So I would say don't tie it down to like very specific times a day and feel like it's going to work. Because like we talked about, the algorithm is going to surface things based on the how recent posts have been released, and then also just who you're most likely to engage with. So just because you posted it at 10 a.m. doesn't mean Instagram is going to show it to those people at 10:05 a.m. I mean, they could get to their phone by noon, and it doesn't matter because you haven't looked at your phone between 10 and noon when you posted it. So I would say don't worry about it too much. Don't post it in the middle of the night is my best suggestion. You can see that in the post insights. If you go to your profile, insights, And then I think you can go to audience or followers, and then you can scroll down and it shows times of day. And it shows when your followers are most online during those times of day.
However, my most viral video was actually posted at 1 a.m.
And a lot of people probably saw that when they woke up the next day, I would guess.
Yeah.
Plus, it's 1 a.m. West Coast time, right?
Right. So
that was like 4 a.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
So they probably saw it when they were getting up and stuff.
That's like kind of how they say always send an email at 7 a.m. or 6 a.m. because it's always at the top.
Yeah.
So, okay, how do you get over the fear of being judged, or criticized by other people, and just do it?
It takes time. I don't know.
It does.
I don't know how to answer this because, like you said, I just don't give a shit. Like I realize that I can't handle what other people do. So why get butthurt or why be affected by what other people do? Because you can't affect it.
Yeah.
Do the best you can. Post what's genuine to you, and I mean, obviously take a little bit of. Be conscious that, you know, what you can say, depending on how you say it, could it be interpreted a certain way, and be seen as like taken negatively? I mean,
right.
Think of it that way too. Like, I don't know.
I think the biggest thing is to admit when you're wrong. Like, admit when you do something wrong. Fix whatever you've done wrong if you do anything wrong, and also hold to yourself. Like, you know, I've had tons, not on Instagram, but I've had tons of criticism on TikTok, and it does get to you. It, like, the first time I had a viral video, all of the comments were like super negative and like super like raunchy and stuff like that, and I got fucking drunk. Right? We did that.
Was it directed at you like it was personal, or was it like
not necessarily
just criticizing the way you were doing stuff?
Just inappropriate and stuff like that. But I got fucking wasted. And like, you know, when we did our
reading it?
No, when we did our podcast, remember I got fucking smashed. And then I went and got a pizza and I drank some wine and it was fine.
This was in reaction to it, or you posted it and then you just went about your day and you were just like,
reaction to it. I had like a serious like mental breakdown over it, but then afterwards you're just like, I can't like literally, I can't do anything. Ether.
It's like, I assume I put out like 1,500 posts, right? I know there's gonna be winners in there. I know there's gonna be losers in there.
Yeah.
I can't predict what the winners are gonna be. I can't predict what the losers are gonna be. I just put it out. I do it consistently, and I'll put like in quotes, the market will decide. People are going to decide what they end up engaging with, and I can't affect it.
Yeah. Okay. How much?
I think Rachel actually asked this question. How much should you share of your personal life on social?
Yeah, and we kind of have discussed this last episode or 2 episodes ago and a few other ones. So
yeah, is there anything directly to answer this one? I think it's totally up to you what you share and don't share.
I share a ton of personal stuff on social. Ryan shares less. It's definitely up to you. The biggest thing I think that we came to a conclusion of is to make sure that you're not don't have a pity party because of your personal anything that's happening personally. You know, just keep it like professional as much as you can because you are running a business.
What about feeling like you have to cater to certain things because of the social media sphere has a certain feeling like feeling like you have to jump on a bandwagon.
Yeah, you don't have to do anything.
You have to post something, or else it reflects on you personally.
Nah, you don't have to do anything. If they don't want to follow you, they won't follow you. If they do, then they do. It's your page. You do what you want.
Yeah, you decide what you want to do on there or don't want to do, and
yeah,
stick by it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and don't be wishy-washy. Okay. Have you ever paid for an IG Facebook ad? Did you find that it was worth it?
Have you paid for an ad before? I have.
Yeah. I don't know if I found that it was worth it or not.
Yeah, it's hard because, like, what's your gauge for success? I guess what you would say is, if you're posting an ad about a restock, you can see the number of engagements on there. You can see the number of link clicks.
Yeah.
But you can't really tie it past that to say these link clicks specifically tied to this order. I don't think you can do that without a lot of work to like go in and see everybody that liked it and like see if the names match people that ordered stuff. But I think you gotta kind of have faith that when you're putting $15 in there and you see the results from it, are you happy with it? Do you feel good about that $15 you spent, or do you regret spending it? Some of it's like a trial and error. You do it and you see what happens. The other ones that I did on like Facebook, I've done the ads for shows that I've done. Like I did the Backyard Craft Show, and we threw like 150. The people that sold in the show, if you don't know, that was the show that I did at my parents' house that I just kind of hosted with a few friends, and it was like 6 of us that did it, and we each threw $25 together as like our booth fee, and we paid for Facebook ads. So it was like $150 in Facebook ads that we threw at it over 14 days or something like that. And it's just more people and a bigger audience that can see it, and you can pick and choose who sees it based on location and stuff like that.
Did you feel like that helped?
I feel like it did. I was asking a few people like, hey, how'd you hear about the show? Yeah. How did you see it? And then some people would say, oh, I saw it on Facebook, or hey, I was in the neighborhood. I saw the signs in the neighborhood, or something like that. So you kind of have to mix up the way that you're advertising, right? Paying for an ad is just one way to do it, versus like doing your posts to talk to your audience about it, doing stories about it, putting up physical posters for a show that you're doing. Like all of those things are just different avenues of attracting attention. So
I have a friend that was doing like a Facebook business situation where it was like food delivery. It was kind of like Grubhub, but like a more local situation. And he had noticed that anytime he would do an ad, like a Facebook post that wasn't paid, it got a lot more like organic movement than if he had paid for it. So yeah, like I think it's kind of like up in the air. Sometimes you can and sometimes it doesn't. So
yeah, I'm really curious. Facebook's kind of a really unknown for me because I don't know how things organically grow in Facebook. How do posts surface in Facebook if you're not physically
people share them
for RD ceramics? Okay, sharing is the main way.
Yeah.
Okay, so because right now my Facebook is basically just I just cross post from Instagram to Facebook, so I don't. Right. There's no like organic growth there unless people that I know are sharing it. So. I'm not putting as much in there as I could, but yeah, there's the ad stuff. When and what to post stories versus posts. I'd say your post should be pretty good quality stuff that's going to get, engagement from it's going to catch somebody's eye within a finger swipe.
In stories, anything goes.
Anything goes. I post long form videos. Some people post very, very finely crafted like photo setups, and it's like they're utilizing the vertical space and like making it look nice and whatever. I'm more like, I don't put any. Some people put filters on there. I'm just like, fuck this. I'm not putting any filters.
I feel like
it's me.
Yeah, I feel like stories is
like your personality.
Yeah, like the difference between stories and posts is stories is your best friend coming over and your house is still dirty. And posts is when like somebody that you don't know comes over to your house and you've cleaned your house. Like the house is clean and it's still like a representation of you, but it's like clean. But when your best friend comes over and like the house is fucking messy and there's dirty dishes in the sink, like that's your stories.
Nice. I like that.
Yeah.
I feel like some people take stories too seriously too, and I'm like,
so true.
Some people I like from just their stories. Like their posts are okay, but like I really feel like I know them way better from their stories.
Yeah.
Some people seem too reserved, or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe they take their post too seriously and they feel like they have to be perfect or whatever.
Yeah, I feel like when stories happened, I was like, yes, like this is me.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Maybe... Well, stories kind of took over from Snapchat, right? Wasn't that kind of a Snapchat?
Yeah. How about we stop with this one? How do reels work? Because I don't really know how this. I don't even know how this.
I don't know how far we go into this, but how do reels work? So reels, if you don't know, it's kind of like the TikTok inside of Instagram. So it's a short. I don't know if everybody has this ability, but it's 15-second or 30-second.
I think some people have 30
Some people have 30 seconds. Some people don't. I do.
Bullshit.
I saw Forrest Ceramico mention that they finally got 30 seconds. So the thing is, the way that Instagram does this, just like the company I work for, they do testing with a segment of users on different features, and some features they'll roll out to a certain group of people, and some people don't get those features, or they get different features, and they're testing it on a sample of different users.
Yeah.
And you're kind of getting that experience. They're gauging the interest and seeing how much it's being used before they roll it out to 100% of people. Otherwise, it could be overwhelming if 100% of people got 100% of the features that they have available. So that's something, a little tidbit that maybe you didn't know. But yeah, I would say you have to record video. It's very vertical heavy, so vertical full screen video. And it's basically just putting together segments of video to reach that 15-second or 30-second interval. You don't have to reach it completely, but piecing together videos, and you can cut certain parts of the videos that you want. So let's say I record, like I just recorded one that I'm going to post here soon that people always ask me when I do my carved pieces, how do you have underglaze on the bottom and it doesn't stick? So I just did a little video where I'm showing the can of aluminum hydrate, and then I got showing me like with my respirator on, and then I did a video of me on a tripod, and it's like got me doing a time lapse of sprinkling it on the shelf, spreading the aluminum hydrate out and putting the mug on it and like putting it in place. And then the final video is me like panning over that shelf, showing all the pieces that are carved that you can see on the shelf. So that I'm kind of demonstrating how I do that and like why it's important.
I feel like Reels is kind of like a trailer. You know, it's like quick edits, and you know you gotta move fast,
and you're gonna get a lot of. I'll say this again. You're gonna get a lot of eyeballs on your feed because of Reels. Like, I saw so much more engagement and such growth once I started using the Reels. Like, I think my best Reel so far has like 285,000 views.
That's crazy.
And it was one of my carving videos. And it's super cool because it's a process that I do all the time whenever I carve a mug. It's just, I think that one got a lot of engagement because it was a blue mug, so it had good contrast between my white mug. And usually what I'll do is I'll take a full time lapse of me carving the mug all the way around, and I'll piece together the first 3 lines of carving, and then I'll skip to the last 3 lines of carving of that mug body, and then I'll go to the part where I'm carving the bottom. I'll do like the first 3 lines on the bottom, the last 3 lines on the bottom. That way I'm like cutting out all of the fat of that video, so it's not monotonous. And then I go to the end one, which is me like circulating the mug so you can see the whole body all the way around and then see the bottom. And then I might add one to the end of me unloading it out of the kiln and showing like what the mug looks like finished, including the bottom.
Nice.
So it's like the whole growth of that mug from carving to finished. And I think that was like my best video. So just think of a way, I mean, you have to get a little creative here, right? So, and think of it in like short segments of time. Like, is this better suited to fit in 30 seconds if it's a real-time video, or is it something that I need to speed up?
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Have you posted any Reels on your account?
I tried, but I couldn't get past the fact that it was only 15 seconds.
Can you put audio on yours? At least?
I don't know.
Yeah, you should also be able to put audio on there. So I pick random songs that I like. So it could be like Michael Bublé, or it could be like Leon Bridges, or I posted like some Macklemore the other day, or some like Ray Charles or Norah Jones or whatever. And I'll just post random audio that I like.
Oh, your choice of music is so funny to me, and I love it.
I don't know. You know, the one thing that I listen to the most that I probably haven't even posted is country. I don't think I've posted any country on there.
Yeah, people don't realize that you do listen. He listens to a lot.
I need to find some like 90s country songs.
Oh, Shania Twain. Please do a Shania Twain one.
Oh, I'll do that. Ooh,
oh, yes.
Shania Twain.
So down for that.
Yeah. The most recent reels that I've been doing is a lot of I'm painting over my top shelf of my kiln that's glazed, and then I'll shut the kiln, and then I'll do the next video when the kiln is shut and I'm opening the kiln and painting over the finished pieces. So,
yeah,
like I feel like I'm going to be doing that for a long time. That's an easy one. As long as I'm loading kilns and unloading kilns, like it takes me 10 seconds to record the shutting and 10 seconds to record the opening, and that's it.
Yep.
Super easy. You know,
Josh has been he doesn't like the reels, like the music, so he just does them in TikTok, and then he scoots them over for reels.
TikTok, do you pick audio, though?
It's got better music, yeah. You can choose music, yeah.
The one thing that they need to add to reels, though, they need to add a way that you can favorite audio clips.
Yeah,
so I don't have to remember. TikTok. Like, if I'm, like, looking at Bublé and I know I want to use this other song in the future, I can't, like, heart it and then save it to a certain list. Because I forget. I'm like, oh, man, I need to do this in the future, and I forget.
Yeah.
All right. Is that our last question?
That was our last question for the night. We're an hour and a half.
And we still had, like, 10 left.
So. I know. God.
Was this fun for you? I feel like I talked a lot, but...
No, it was great.
I feel like it was more fun with some back and forth here.
I think it was... Yeah, I liked it back and forth. It was good. Like we already said, I'm exhausted, and we need to figure out a better time that I'm not so tired. And
I mean, we can do it at like 5 o'clock after I get off work, or 5:30, and then I can go in the studio after. What are we gonna do about it? I mean, we do it on the weekend.
I know. That's what we're probably gonna have to do.
Record it on Sunday night or something. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
We'll see. We'll figure it out. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, that was good. No, I felt like that was really good, and you were.
Yeah.
The cool thing about doing it, both of us, is that you're talking to me, so you're not saying you're not saying like all the things, and you're not thinking super hard. You're just like blurting out the stuff. So.
Plus, I can kind of get some of your body language of where you're like, all right, let's move on, as well as like, I'm gonna put my head down because I know he's just gonna go on here for 10 minutes, so I know I don't have to engage.
I slept through a lot of this one.
Because she knows what I'm going to say.
I know what you're going to say. And I'm tired. And I'm a little drunk. No, I'm not drunk, actually. I'm a little tipsy, but that's fine. Yeah. It was good, though. I felt like it was good. I learned some things.
We were talking about before this. We're thinking of some people that we want to talk to here shortly, so... We'll get some more of those interviews back on the books here shortly, and we'll talk to some more people. I miss that. I don't know about you, but
I do too.
I miss interviewing some people. I feel like since we've been away from it for so long, I feel stressed of like knowing the right things to ask people.
Well, we'll see.
I feel like I haven't, but I talk to you all the time, but I feel like I got to put a different hat on when I'm gonna like interview somebody. But
you got to put the professional hat on.
I guess. Depends on how well you know him, right?
Yeah, that's true. We need to get Josh on here again.
Yeah, we probably dropped that in about 4 times since the last time we talked to him, so...
Yeah, Josh, come on.
I've got a shared note I need to share with you with some questions for his next episode, so...
Oh, sweet.
We've already got some queued up for what to talk with him about.
We should call, like, can we just call him the Kiln Guru? Josh, maybe. The Kiln Guru. We'll see if he even made it to the end of this episode. Hi, Josh.
Maybe. Probably not. He was probably like, God.
I know. He skips our, like, how are you doing during the days, and then he ends early. I know he does.
But how does he know how far to jump forward, though?
I don't know. I don't know. Okay, anyway, well, yeah, that's it.
Thanks for listening. And
Thanks.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey guys, thank you so much for listening to our podcast. We really appreciate it, and we're having so much fun. If you want to follow us individually on Instagram, you totally can. Ryan's Instagram handle is @RDCeramics, and mine is 5 Lines Pottery. That's the number 5. We would love to hear from you, and don't forget to write us a review on our podcast. We read every single one of them, and we totally appreciate them. They help us out an awful lot, and they also put smiles on our faces. I hope you guys continue to listen, and we love you. Thanks. Bye.